NVC.
Oh, well, I'll record anyways, but
Hmm?
um, say that again. You first of all, you wanted to be sure that if I'm if I'd be understandable considering
Yeah,
the language differences.
yeah.
How are we doing so far?
Good. Very good. Yeah.
Okay, well that's a good start. And also you're asked about what I'm interested in as far as my connection to NVC, or what was that question?
Where are your, I have to search for vocabulary.
Sure.
Do you understand German a little bit?
Nein, ich spreche ein bisschen Deutsch,
Yeah.
but I'd
Yeah.
have to stay in Germany for a while to remember.
Yeah, okay. Oh, I want to know you to hear what are you speaking about, your introduction and yeah,
I can do that.
yeah.
Okay, good. And I noticed there's some other people showing up. I would invite you to put on your video. It'd be lovely to see you. And it's a choice, of course. But so much of what we communicate is more than our words. And sometimes to
Hi,
be
good
a
evening.
good evening, who is that? That is
This is Chidam, the picture with the
Tim.
stones. Um,
Nice.
I'm sorry that
Welcome.
I'm not in a condition to open my video tonight, but I will be here listening to you very carefully, and I'm very interested about what you have to say, and
Wonderful.
also looking forward to the IIT. I just wanted to let you know that I am not in a position to open my video.
That's okay. Thank you for letting me know. Can I ask you a question since we're just beginning?
Sure.
Is there anything in particular you would like to know? I mean, I'll share, but I'd love to have, the feedback to know that I'm meeting people's needs as I'm talking. Is there something you would love to hear more about today, Jidum?
Not specifically about the IIT.
Hmm.
But I heard your name a lot. And one person that I know from a training is working with you, Özlem, I think. Um, and as a general question, if we have time for that, again, not about IIT, but I would really love to hear your story about how you got into NVC and how it progressed.
Okay, that sounds fun. So, and I see Charlotte is here and Wilhelm. Feel free to introduce yourself as well or ask any question you'd like. Just welcome. So, yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about myself and my introduction to nonviolent communication. And we're just at a couple minutes in, so we'll make a little extra time here. So, for people to show up, I see. Um, Hi, Holly.
Hi,
It's good to see you.
nice to see you.
While people are gathering, the question, this actually tells you a little bit about myself too, but the question I love to ask in all my classes is what would you love to learn today? Or what is it that brings you here? And so may I ask that to you, Holly? Feel free to decline too if you don't want to answer.
Um, what brings me here is curiosity,
Mhm.
and I'm very excited to be part of the Germany um, nonviolent communication immersive training
Hmm.
um, because I feel um, that I have a lot to learn.
Yeah, lovely. So curiosity and a beginner mindset, meaning like there's so much to learn. I share that with you too.
Mm.
There's so much to learn and it's lifelong and can even be considered many lifelong learning. It's pretty endless and it's a wonderful attitude. um, that I agree with because it leaves us open to the kind of curiosity where um, instead of trying to that we should know the answers, to be open to possibilities.
Hmm.
So that is, so let me tell you a little bit about myself and some of the work that I enjoy sharing and bringing to the circle of NVC trainers around the world, really. I've been doing it quite a long time. I had experiences with Marshall Rosenberg when he was teaching
Mm.
and sharing. So I have him at my back. I've had some wonderful NVC trainers at my back that I've been fortunate to um, be inspired by. I My wife is also a trainer, Judith, and we've been together now for about 40 years. And in 1990, we started with 9 other families an intentional community. So we all bought land together. And this idea of community, what a wonderful idea, and then just like so many things like, raising children or being married or having long-term relationships, it can be very surprising of what you don't know and what we don't know. And so much to learn and so much to reclaim in the way of depthful relationships. So our community in our struggles to learn what community can be, uh, NVC was suggested to us way in the beginning. And we brought in some teachers and we explored it, and it became part of the fabric of our community and something Judith and I went on to be trainers in. And at the same time, it was in its depthfulness over time, how I understand nonviolent communication. And I'm talking about the territory, not necessarily the map, but the territory of it is community. It is a way of finding common ground, our needs, and to connect to it by what we feel, you know. Moving from here down into here is the journey to the heart. And that's really, really hard to do when you are in relationship and triggered by it, and all the history that's in us starts to show up, and we generally go to what we think, not what we feel. And where did we learn that? We learned most of that in school. If I ask you, in school, were you ever asked, what would you love to learn today? Were you ever asked that? No, most people were not. Were you ever asked growing up in school, what do you care about? Really? And I do this all around the world, believe me. And most, uh, 19 out of 10, 20, 19 out of 20 people would say they were never asked that. Occasionally someone says. But consequently, what we learn to do is what we're rewarded for is thinking, not feeling. Those of us who feel a lot are often told, you feel too much. So what we do not use, we tend to lose. So this idea of this gets reinforced. It becomes our main way of figuring things out and navigating relationships. And this is the part that needs more reclaiming. Stephanie, how am I doing with the English and the German? Am I making sense for you?
Yes, I can understand you very well.
Okay, good. I know you were concerned about that. Um, so, um, what I noticed is in relationship, we tend to get tight, something happens, and it's very much in our bodies. And we can try to think our way, but if our history is contracted in emotional pain. Let me give you an example. Hi, Veronica. Veronica, am I saying that right?
Yes, hi. It's Veronique in
Veronique.
French, in
Ah,
Belgian French, but Veronica is fine. Thank you so
oh,
much.
Veronique is so much more beautiful. I love that word. I love how you say that. Veronique.
Thanks.
So, we're talking about what I love to emphasize in my work that complements a lot of NVC teaching is um, coming home to the body. A lot of NVC we learn through words, needs, strategies, and all the different distinctions that are wonderful. They really get how our culture of hierarchy and domination and control and punishment and reward, it's in our language. So nonviolent communication, Marshall Rosenberg's work really helped to identify that and change that. And still, with the words perfect, still, how do you communicate to someone? You notice that you can get words perfect, but you can get reactions that don't make sense. And that's because much of what we communicate is who we are, what is going on, what we communicate more than the words. For example, if I came in to a class and I was nervous and I said, hello everybody, welcome. I feel very, very happy to be here, and and let's take a deep breath. Okay, so now you notice how that feels when my words are nice, but when my body relaxes, it transmits something. There's so much in our bodies that we can listen to. Take the basics of NVC for listening to the needs under the strategies. These are strategies, and we have learned them. But how do you change them? It's just like when you have someone over here who's angry at you or trying to talk to you. How do you communicate? You listen to the needs under the strategies. This might be the strategy, but what's the needs under that? Connect first. And we can learn to connect first to these places inside of us. So, because when we tighten, let me give you an example. I like things to be experiential in my classes, okay? And since two of you are here visual, there's other people I can see listening. Hi, Holly. Here you go. So think about something that's alive, a difficult situation, someone in your life that you're struggling with, okay, in a conversation. Can you all imagine that? And you can imagine I'm that person, or just imagine you're talking to that person, or you're talking together. And imagine it's happening right now, okay? When you do that, what goes on in your body? Is there a place you feel it sort of tighten? Yes. Yeah. Stephanie, yeah. And you can point to it. You don't have to, but I'm just saying everybody has this. It's here, or it's here. It can be many places for sure. These are strategies. things you have learned in your life and practiced over and over and over so they become a part of you, right? Just like our words, just like our words. And so, what do you do when you're talking to someone and this is going like this and you're trying to talk? People feel before they think, and they will feel this, even if your words are nice. And what they'll hear are two messages. Hey, Jürgen, nice to see you. They'll hear two messages. And what happens when you hear two messages at the same time from somebody? It kind of hurts the trust. So, how do you speak in a unified way? The topic I chose today was reaching across our divides. And it could be between you and me, or it could be between me and me, which is the same. It's the same basics. Same basics. Empathic listening. Listening with care and curiosity and an openness. And listening for what's under the strategies, what those strategies are in service to. Remember, all strategies are in service to life. The thing is, some strategies kind of tragic. Some strategies were put in place when we were very young or in a very hard place. And those strategies can be very, again, tragic, inefficient. They work, they don't work. Some work great. You know, let me give you an example. Something I did in my class last night. I asked them this question. Was it okay to be really powerful and outspoken growing up for you? Was that okay? A lot of people say no. So what do? We learn to tighten our jaw because we learn to not talk we learn to make ourselves smaller. That was my strategy. Make myself smaller. Contract. We learn to hide our heart. We learn to close away our intuition, our gut, our belly. It's like there's a map, but it's not really a map. So just like when someone is really angry, they're contracted. Excuse me, one moment. Sorry. Sorry, a little noise in the house. So this is a place we can go. I do work between people and working on relationships, and teaching skills and working on skills, and we will practice those at the IIT. But one of the unique things I tend to strive to emphasize, to focus on, is what's going on inside of us. Because when we contract, when we are we're protecting ourselves. So you all had a place when I said, where do you tighten in those difficult situations? If we tighten here, we're protecting our hearts. And quite often what happens is when we're younger, our hearts are not really honored out there in the world. So an intelligence in us learns to protect it, or our expression, or our thinking, or our intuition, or our just ourselves. If ourselves are not okay to put out in the world, we learn to protect those things because they're precious. So these strategies are there in service of something beautiful. The strategies are in service to something beautiful. But they feel like pain. Just like that person over there, his strategies feel painful. But if you look at the needs underneath it, they're really beautiful. Same. Learning to listen to the source, the needs of the strategies. Is this making sense what I'm saying? Can I just check in? Does anybody have a question you'd like to ask before I go on? Okay. Another thing that I love to bring to the circle of NVC trainers everywhere, I mean, just people, what I love to share is how do you take nonviolent communication to embody it? So again, to bring it in to your whole self so you can be creative with it. It can be yours. You can speak it without, so it's genuinely your own language. We learn nonviolent communication, a lot of us, in the way it's taught, as a set of linguistic tools. And those are training wheels. They're very important training wheels. But you've ridden a bike maybe with training wheels. And what happens if you don't take the training wheels off at some point? It slows the bike down and you cannot ride freely. So how do we make nonviolent communication a lifelong learning, an art and a discipline? How do you learn that? How do you learn an art? And that's what I love to bring to NVC, which are how to do that. And I take a little bit about me. Again, I mentioned, first of all, practicing and living in an intentional community for many years, and wife and children, and lots of places to practice, and being out there and sharing and teaching and working together. Jude, thank you. This is my wife, Judith, everybody. Here she is. Want to say hi? Thanks. Judith might be a trainer at this training too. If there's enough people, there's a good chance she would be brought on. We're not sure. We'll see. That'd be nice. So what I love to do is, how do you make this? It's more than a box of tools. How do you make it a lifelong practice? How do you learn an art? So what I pull from is the arts I love. One is Aikido, which is essentially nonverbal, nonviolent communication. It is the art of loving protection for all. And so I bring in these practices from there, and I'll tell you more about that in a moment. Because as conflicts get more and more intense, what do you do? And so I can draw from this other art. The other work is somatics, which is coming home to the body. And I've studied that, and I'm I'm a coach with that, work with that. And I'm a musician. I'm a goldsmith. I've been a goldsmith for longer than all of that. And what I've done is I've cross-referenced. How do you learn something so you can be it? And we talk about needs. Needs we first learn that they're words. They're words that describe life. And life is infinite. So how can words even begin to describe it? So that needs actually become our teachers, what we call needs. It's life teaching us. It's something we can learn for the rest of our lives. We talk about meeting our needs, in nonviolent communication, right? Well, I wrote a book. It's called Becoming What You Need. To be integrity, to be honesty, to become caring, to become present. These are what we call needs, all these words, but to become it. And I'd like to give you an example, a practice versus me talking so much. Does that sound good? Would you like to learn? So, a little story. Um, something. So yeah. How I teach nonviolent communication, I teach a foundation, basic practices for taking it and learning it as a lifelong learning, as an art and a discipline for the rest of your life. So I'll offer a practice, and I want to offer a tiny story about what inspired me to in the beginning. I mentioned that when I was starting to learn nonviolent communication, I was living in a community in a pressure cooker of relationships and lots of relationships, and it was intense. It was a lot to learn. I really went like I started nonviolent communication working with Marshall Rosenberg, and I was like, this is exciting. Okay, how do you do this? And I started going to classes, and at one point, I went to a class, and the teacher said, okay, everybody, break up into groups of 3. 2 people have a role play, and they argue, and 1 person just listen with empathy, quietly. Well, I was the person who was listening quietly with empathy. And I was listening to these 2 women arguing. And what I did was I opened my attention to include them in there as they were arguing, and quietly opening my attention. And what happened was this: I started to feel underneath their argument, underneath them, their connection. And not only that, quietly, I became a part of the conversation. I don't know how, but I do know. Because in that moment, I went, and there was this, aha opening moment for me. And I went, oh my gosh, an empathic field is a key field, KI, in Aikido, which I had been studying and practicing for 20 years before that. And I still do. Key field key means life, you know. So listening to life. That's what NVC is. A key field and an empathic field, for me, are the same thing. And so what I said, I was like, I have to bring this to nonviolent communication, how to practice more than just what we think. Because when the teacher said, just listen empathically, at that time, I was like, what does that mean? How do I do this? But that's what happened. And from there, um, it put me in a direction to be developing and sharing practices that I love to bring to complement the NVC learning. So I'd like to show you one of those practices right now. How does that sound? That sound good? Okay, here's the question. Here's a question. You all know what needs are, right? The needs list and everything, right? Okay. Consider these to be qualities of being, okay? A quality of life. That makes sense. Okay, and in your life right now, what is one quality you would love to cultivate more of that would really support you in having the life you would love to live? Just one quality. How about you, Robin? Would you like to share?
Yes, I can say I'm sorry that we're too late. We noted the
Oh,
difference.
no, no, no. That's okay. It's
We're
okay.
like, okay,
No problem. I'm glad you're here. What is one quality though that would help, would you would love, that would really support you?
uh, I love comfortableness. I like to be comfortable. So is that a quality you mean?
It kind of is. I think it's a little bit of a strategy, maybe for ease or something underneath that.
Yeah,
Comfort, comfort. We all need
safety.
comfort. Maybe it is a
Yeah,
need. Yeah.
safety is also good.
Safety. Okay. Okay. Thank you. How about you, Holly? Can I ask? Oh, I think you're frozen. Veronique, how about you?
Yes, emotional safety.
Safety again. Okay. Emotional safety. It's just safety is what we're really looking, that quality, right? Stephanie, did you have one?
Self-care.
Self-care or just care, whether it's self or other, it's care is the quality.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to work with I am going to work with care right now, even though safety, they all fit together. All right. Leah, would you like to contribute any? What was yours since you're right there too? I'd love to acknowledge you.
I was thinking about acceptance.
Acceptance, really, that's a good one too. Really good one. Okay, care seems to be more of a, well, let's try care. Here's the practice. All right. Everybody, sit with your head above your heart, above your belly, if you're comfortable doing that. Vertical line. You can imagine yourself like you're an antenna. You're transmitting and receiving. Okay. And as I mentioned before, you can imagine that these qualities, and we'll call it this one care, is a quality of life. Life is infinite. So we're approaching this with so much to learn, and that life is our teacher. Okay? So head above heart, above belly. Soften your eyes. Yeah, I like to keep them open, but feel free to close them if you like, because I like to practice this when I'm with people too. I practice it all the time, or not all the time, but. And then let your tongue rest on the floor of your mouth. The weight that you carry on your shoulders, all your responsibilities, especially you organizers for the IIT, You can say, thank you for shoulders for carrying that. And if you want, you can take it and put it on the ground next to you just till we're done. Try that. You can just pick it up. You're not going to throw it away. You're going to just put it down for a moment. There you go. How does that feel, Robin?
Um, it's funny because something is changing. So
Okay.
I can't exactly know what, but something changed.
Okay. Well, you went,
Yes.
okay, good. Something is changing. And what you're going to be doing in these practices is learning to listen what's going on because it's your body talking to you. And you're going to learn to listen empathically, which means more than the words. Empathy is listening with your whole self. And messages come in words and feelings and images in all kinds of ways. It's like an artist. It's like you're waiting for an inspiration. So we'll get there. A lot of that kind of stuff in my courses. So for right now, weight's off your shoulder. Feel your sit bone on your seat, feet on the ground. This is the shape. Shape. Now take a deep breath in and make a noise. Notice how that feels. That's a unifying breath. The more relaxed you are, the more aware you can be. The more relaxed you are, the more integrated you can become. So take a deep breath. Make a sound. And now, so there's 4 parts of this. We just did 1, shape. Unify is 2. 3 is resource, which is needs. Okay, everybody, now do this. Ask yourself. It's a question to the body, if you will. Ask yourself, how would it feel if I had just a tiny bit more care? You know, the quality of care that I love. How would that feel right now? Ask your body and don't know the answer. Don't make the answer. Let your body answer you. What would that feel like if I had just a little bit more of the care that I love? And notice what happens. Veronique, can I ask you if you'd like to share? What do you notice?
Yes, I immediately felt like a space surrounding my heart.
Hmm.
Much more lighter, much more space.
Hmm.
Really nice feeling.
Mhm. So something sort of opened and that's a lot of information.
Mm.
And it took about 10 seconds. And this is your body talking to you. Something opened, something shifted. There's historical patterns. You could say, we can go there. For right now, just notice.
Mm.
And Stephanie, if you ask yourself, how would it feel right now to have a little bit more of the care that you would love? What do you notice? Anything else?
I think it's difficult to find the English words right now. Sorry.
Deutsch would be just fine.
Okay, mein Rücken wurde aufrechter und ich hatte das Gefühl, dass ich da gestärkt wurde im Rücken.
Mm.
Her back were like straightened up, and she felt like a strength in her back.
Ooh. Okay. So
Thank you, Robin.
again, a lot of information there that we can learn how to explore. But the back, oh my gosh. So I'm guessing, Stephanie, that you felt a little bit more support that you're back. And there's so much to explore there in time. Yeah. Um, we can go on. It's you could do this every day of your life and find something new. Remember, life is infinite and it can go deeper and deeper. For example, when the heart started to open, there was a time where the heart actually closed, and you can start listening into the history. Empathy goes beyond time, in my opinion, how I work with it. And you can listen to the past and you can heal it and reparent, really. Or at your back, you got ancestors back there and teachers and you know, lots that we can reconnect to our divides. So this is part of the practice. If you find yourself contracting, if I say, how would it feel to have a little more care? And something inside you says, I don't deserve that. And you start to go, shh, then just ask for less. We're not going to force anything. Ask for one molecule more. How would one molecule more feel?
I would like to share what I experienced when you asked the third question, if that's all
Well,
right.
please, absolutely, please share.
Yeah. I really liked the way you asked, like just like a little bit, because when somebody says like, "Oh, love," you said, it's always my first thought is like, "Oh, that's a lot of pressure for me." So maybe I just can accept myself, and so I like when you just said like a little bit. And I was like, I can do that. I'm able to do that, and it's not really a feeling, but I had like an emotion, or I had like something, I felt something, and it was like a hug from myself. So that I was hugging myself and telling myself, it's okay. So it's okay the way that you are. And why I want to share it is because it's already fulfilling as we're talking about it.
Thank you for sharing that. I'm glad you did. Yeah, a lot of information there. Your hand is up. I forgot how you say your name. I'm so sorry. Sigum?
Yeah, no worries. My name is challenging. It's Chidam.
Idem.
And if we have time, I also wanted to share.
By all means, I'd love to hear. And again, it's great. Please do.
I felt my shoulders relaxing,
Mm-hmm.
and I felt really light.
Mm-hmm.
So even in German, erleichtert. And it was literally weight off my shoulders.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Again, body's a metaphor. There's a lot of information. You know, the weight you carry on your shoulders out of care, maybe something is, you know, you can, okay, there's another, for example, one thing you can do here if you want to continue this listening. So if you turn to your shoulders, you can try this. And by all means, if you don't want to, that's okay too. I'm saying this to everybody though. You can turn to that place. So if you turn to your shoulders and you go, oh, I see you're telling me something because your shoulders are telling you something. And you ask this question, you could say, I can see you're telling me something. I would love to hear. Is there anything you want to tell me? I'm listening. And just give it a space, see if anything comes. First thought.
So many answers there, yeah.
What's the first answer for you? First thought. Just one.
But the first one is you don't need to take on that much.
Okay. So, as strange as it might sound, your shoulders answered you. And when you ask a question and someone answers you, even if you don't understand it, graciousness comes first. Just say thank you to your shoulders. Just say thank you. Notice how that feels.
it's like I got loads of empathy and like my body is relaxing, like woo, is coming out of me. And now it's happening backwards because the other way I experienced until now is that I'm talking and my body's relaxing. Now my body's relaxed and I felt the same. I call it glow for myself.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Because that is a,
Thank you for listening.
you're welcome. This is not unusual. We all have this. This is empathic listening. It's not so much about the words. In fact, less words is often so powerful. And in going to and listening, what the shoulders talk to you. And Veronique, I'm guessing by the look on your face, when you did that internally, you also asked the question and you got some answer, something, right? Would you like to share it? If not, that's okay.
I didn't really get an answer right away. So yeah, I was too much still in my body, enjoying the feeling, I think.
Oh, yeah, don't want to rush that.
No.
Don't want to rush that. Thank
Yes.
you. See how wise your body is? It said, "No, we're going to stay here." And if you don't get an answer, you say, "That's okay. I just want you to know I'm listening." hmm And by the way, those are the same skills you work with other people. It's the same internal as it is with other people. So it's a one set of practices, internal and external, learning to listen to the needs underneath, be curious, and it's the lightest of touch. It's not forceful. It's not forceful. So these are skills that we can learn for the rest of our lives to do better and better and better, you know. Um, so in this practice, we just did the first three parts. We did shape and a unifying breath and a resource, I call it, needs. It spells in English surf, as in like surfing a wave. It's the name of the practice, but it's shaping yourself, relaxing yourself, inviting a quality or a need to teach you to listen. And here's the last part. So everybody, let's do that real quick. We'll go through the steps and I'll share the last piece. So head above heart above belly. Soften your eyes. Let your tongue rest on the floor of your mouth. Take the weight. Either just thank it, put it down for a moment. And then unclench your sphincter muscle, your butt muscle. You can imagine you have a dinosaur tail and rest on it. That's it. And then feel your feet on the ground. And then take a deep breath in. The more noise, the better sometimes. There, feels good, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that great? Okay. And then resource, just invite a little care again, just a little bit. And this is the fourth part. Put your attention a little in front of you, a little behind you, to left, to the right, above and below. It's sort of like a bubble, a field, a bubble, if you will. This is an empathic field. It's your personal space. So can everybody imagine that? Can you imagine that you're in the middle of this sort of sphere, a small sphere? Okay. Can you imagine that part that's behind you too? Sometimes that's harder. Okay. Now try this. I'm going to ask you to open your eyes. And if it's hard to imagine with your eyes open, then you can close them. But try to open your eyes. Now, this bubble is just all equally all around you. Okay? Fill it with some care if you can, or just put your attention there. And very slowly let it get bigger till it touches the monitor. Just till it touches the monitor, that big. That's sort of our boundary together. My bubble meets yours. We all meet each other. Now you can ask your field. You know how you just asked your shoulders the question? You can ask this field, is it okay to open to include the monitor? And if you get a yes, then let the bubble get a little bit bigger in all directions. And so it opens and includes the monitor. If you get a no, just stay there. That's okay. Did anybody get a no? Okay. So then very slowly open it and include the monitor in your bubble, filled with care. And look at who you're with. This is an empathic field. Notice anything that might have changed for you, how it is. So we're in it together right now for a little bit. And this is a practice. And there's a lot we can play with and explore, which we'll do at the IIT. But for right now, what I would invite you to do after our session is do this bubble. Well, first of all, Leah and Robin, with each other, put the bubble around each other for just a moment. You each of your own, if you want. Notice how that is. This is an empathic field. All right. This is very hard to do when you're in pain or triggered with each other. You know, it's super easy to do when I have my grandchild on my lap. No problem. But then there's a whole bunch of things we can do to learn to regulate. Because when you're contracted in historical or emotional pain, it's the opposite of open and inclusive. So learning how to do that skillfully is part of our practice. Well, what I'd suggest you do after the session is go for a walk, maybe in nature, go outside and take this bubble and put it so you're including a plant in it. Include something in nature and notice what happens. See, empathy and the faculty of empathy is the same whether you're listening to the life in yourself or another or the earth or any part of nature. This is how we listen to the life. And I believe that is how we evolved. That we evolved in nature, in tribe, in community. And because we have learned to not practice that, we've lost a lot of that. So I believe that this work we're doing is to bring it back, to reclaim it, our empathic faculties for listening to life. Because when we do that, we can make choices that will be comprehensive for generations. We can learn to listen to each other's different perspectives and recognize that we're in this together. So that's, I think, my introduction to what I care about and what I love, what moves me to be here today, and why I am going to cross the ocean to go and be a part of this intensive training is community. It matters to me. Reclaiming community is where we can build our capacity to be empathic. This is where we can practice. And find our voices and be powerfully in our voices from the inside out in a unified way, where our heart, our self, our intelligence, our expression, our intuition are working together from the ground we stand on and our highest knowing. For the sake of this earth and our children and their children and future generations, and honoring the ancestors as well. So that's my statement. That's why I'm going. Any questions for me? One of the things that we will do, I guarantee it, when we're together is this. I'm going to ask you this question more than once because it is the organizing principle. It's where our power is what do you care about? What moves you to be here? What do you care about in all of your relationships? No double standard. Strategies change, but who are you? And it begins with that question of what do you care about? What is the ground you stand on? And we'll build from there. That's not an easy question. It's not what we've practiced, most of us. Anyway, any questions? We have some time if you'd like.
I don't really have a question. I just want to express something.
Please.
Because I really love your exercise with the bubble. I know that from my vocal coaching, from my singing lessons.
Yeah.
Because we always do that with my teacher. We do it with the voice to really spread it in front and behind and everywhere around me. So
Yeah.
I really like, because I got that inside of me to say, okay, my voice goes out in every way. So I like the idea to do the same with empathy. So that's it brings something together in my life, like the singing and music and the empathy. So that's
Wonderful.
really nice.
It is. It's so nice to hear too.
Yeah.
And you know, the idea, it's kind of a unique idea that, oh, wait a minute. So when I'm listening to you empathically, I can bring qualities into the empathy. So today I'll listen to you with care, or I might listen to you with integrity or presence. And, you know, the beauty of this practice too, that I love, that works for me, is, you know, like I live in relationships and community. We all, you know, and, you know, there's, for example, there's a woman who's my best friend's wife, but somehow I triggered her. Yeah, I don't know what I was, you know. And, you know, I'd walk past her and she would be like, you know, she'd like look at a tree and walk over there. And I was like, huh, so what do you do? And I could try to figure it out, how do I do this? But what I do, and what I did with her, the quality I was working on for me at that time, for a long time actually, was kindness. Kindness. Acceptance is a really good one too, by the way. They're all good. And by the way, all these qualities, all these needs, they're all one. They're all life. They all meet, but they emphasize different things. Kindness. So what I would do is if I saw this woman down the road, instead of what should I do? Should I talk to her? Do I do this? Do I do that? I would go, I'd ask myself, because I have this whole self understanding of what kindness is from practice. I would say, well, what would kindness do now? And I'd listen for the answer, like you listen to your shoulders. And the answer was, oh, just walk around gently. Another time, what would kindness say? Oh, again, nothing right now. Just gently walk by. Another time, what would kindness say? Oh, kindness would say hello. So I'd say hello from that field of kindness. And it changed over time, and the relationship is good. But it makes it so much less confusing if you're just moving from what you know you care about and you put that in the world.
That's beautiful to hear. I love that. I love the idea of like playing around with the empathic field to make it bigger, make it smaller. And when I at first you said focus on yourself, and I did that, and that was really beautiful. And then you said expand it over yourself, and I was like, oh yeah, now it's complete. So it was this part of including others were missing, or I was missing. And then you said expand it more. And then I had the idea of the IIT. When everybody's walking around with that field, I was like, wow, this is going to be amazing. So everybody's walking around with this idea of an empathic field with care. I was like, wow, yes.
Yeah. That would be lovely. And you can bet that people are going to get triggered, because we do. So we have to, along with learning about the empathic field, what we'll be also working with in my sessions is self-regulation. Self-regulation. What is too much? And to make choices. This field, this bubble, this is a different way of thinking about boundaries. This is a choice maker. This field is a choice maker. It gathers information, helps you make choices. It's like on a car, like a shock absorber. If you pay attention to it, you don't get shocked so much. And so, anyway, so that's it. So
I'm getting curious.
What?
I'm getting curious to your workshops at the IIT.
That's good. That's good. Well, again, if there are there any other questions? I mean, it's been a lovely hour plus, but I'm happy to be here. I'd show you something else if you'd like, but I want to be mindful of your time too. So, any other questions first about me or what I do? Yes, hands up there.
Freedom, yeah.
You did.
It's I will have a German phonetic writing for the
I know. Yeah.
the IIT, but I have to think about an English version. I have to go. I have a German class.
Nice.
I wanted to say thank you.
You're very welcome.
And looking forward to meet you. Yeah, very curious, and I'm counting the weeks.
Yay. Well, I will look forward to that too, Cheetum. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. See you all there. Bye. Good
Bye-bye.
evening.
Good evening. Well, okay. I think we'll call her good then. And Stephanie, I hope you feel better real soon. Get rid of that cold.
Thank you.
Veronique, it's been a pleasure. Yeah. Oh, you have yeah.
Before we leave, are there any questions related to the IIT, like from the organizing stuff? Is there any question?
Okay.
Perhaps I have just one question that pops up now. For you, David, how
Yes.
many workshops will you be giving during the week? Is it
Let's see, what is it? I believe it's like twice a day for most of the days. And I think there's one day where I won't teach or something like that, but I'll be
okay?
around. I'll be around to play and hang out
Okay.
and stuff because I think that's just as important as the classes, frankly.
Yeah. Okay. Looking forward to it.
Me
I
too.
would
Me
say
too. We're
it's 16 when I'm not.
16.
Yeah, I
all
think
in
it's 16 all in all.
all. Twice a
Mhm.
Okay.
day.
Sounds good.
and I take requests. So
Okay. Good to know.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Looking forward to them. Thanks. Thanks so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you too. All right. Well, with that, then we'll sign off, and I want to just say thank you again for everybody for just holding the space, and it was lovely just to share a little bit with y'all.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right. We'll see
Seeing
you
you all.
soon. Let's
Yes.
train.
See you
Bye-bye.
soon. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.